What's going on, gamers? Hopefully you guys are enjoying gaming. This video is going to be a salt farming video, of course. We're going to be highlighting some losers and then going deep into some stuff. Starting off with this guy right here, who is obviously a complete loser. And it's like, when you say something, it's like, try to be intelligent. We got a comment section we got to cover on YouTube as well, which I think is funny. And then we got something over here too on Nick 101 Gaming, and then a reply by Porter Rock 2, which I think is funny. That guy's definitely salty. So let's start off with this dude talking about that was the worst state of play I've seen in my life. What? Okay. So first of all, that was actually one of the best state of plays that Sony has done recently for PlayStation. If you think about some of the ones they did before, they were not that good. A lot of people were talking about, come on, Sony, man, you got to do better. Not only was it better than all the previous state of plays they've done in a long time, it was twice as long. Actually, almost that, because it went up to 70 minutes, damn near. So I'm trying to figure out, when Sony showed a host of first-party games, exclusives, third-party games, indies, and AA games, and they gave you an hour straight of games and some of the stuff that you wanted to see. Obviously people want that God of War trilogy, and you're getting a remake on that. You got a Shadow Drop God of War. They started off with PlayStation exclusive. Ghost of Yotei is getting free DLC. Tony's been on a good spree lately of doing the right things for their base. They're putting games on PC. They're sharing their games. They're not money hiding as much before. They're actually being open to other platforms. Like, I don't see the problem here. That was a good state of play. So you coming in here saying that, and you got 25 people coming with you. I don't know what to say about that. I think some of you people just really want to say negative stuff that doesn't make any sense. He says, I'm moving to Nintendo after this garbage presentation. I mean, Switch 2 is really good. This guy says, you don't even have a PS5. Ain't no way you saying that. STFU, nobody asked, little bro. I'm not getting into that. Open up. Nobody asked, brother. So, like, the funny thing here is about this guy, just how goofy and ignorant he is that when you say something like that, you could have said, from my personal experience, this state of play did not fit me. But saying it's the worst state of play, like, that's when you're saying, like, something that does not make any sense at all. Because everybody knows this is not the worst state of play. There's state of plays that were just boring as hell. Where it's like, bro, I don't even know why I wasted my time watching this. You know what I mean? I'm hoping to see some showcase. This was clearly better than any other state of play recently. Like, there's the opinion, y'all, and then there's the obvious. It's like, bro, get out of here with that bull crap. No. Okay, so now going over to Nick 101 Gaming. This one right here is definitely interesting. Then we're going to get to the comment on my channel, which he needs to be put in his place. Nick Gaming says, does anyone dislike the deceiving stuff Sony continues to do by not showing other platforms when a game, I know what you're saying, it's not politics, it's fine, is multi-platform compared to Microsoft? This right here needs to be talked about. First and foremost, whoever said that Sony owes Microsoft any advertisement or screen time in their show? Guys, tell me where there's a contract saying that. And how is that deceiving somebody because you don't want to market the losing platform and your show that is not going to benefit you like Steam would? That's why they put PC there still. It didn't say PlayStation. If Sony was really trying to do that, they would have never included PC and said, oh, it's still coming on PC after this. No, that means that's what they think of Xbox. Remember when Rockstar was advertising the PlayStation 4? You looked down and looked at the trademark stuff, it only mentioned PlayStation. It did not mention Xbox, because that's how irrelevant Xbox is to them, as far as, like, this is not a platform that I believe is going to do anything for me. It's a dying platform, hardware-wise. It's a dying market. So that's where the Xbox dead motto here came in. So Sony's like, why am I advertising for a dead platform that doesn't buy games? Just hoping that, because they're going to come to Game Pass and beg me, is it going to come to Game Pass? Because that's exactly what they're going to do, which is now $30 a month. PC Game Pass, get ready to go up, get ready for that too. So because you don't want to advertise Microsoft in your show does not mean you're deceiving somebody. Because right after that, you can go on Twitter and see, or go on any article or any forum or anything on YouTube and see that they're going to advertise the game for themselves. And that Sony does not owe Microsoft any advertisement. That's not deceiving. Deceiving would be different by saying it's a PlayStation exclusive and you find out, or only on PlayStation, or for PlayStation, you see what I mean? And then you find out it's not. They're not painting that. They're putting the even PC logo there and putting some stuff on PC. like Kina and stuff like that. So yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And then he says, why the hell are they trying so hard to fool people? They're not doing that because who are they trying to fool by saying that Xbox is not irrelevant? The Xbox is irrelevant and they're not relevant. You see? So it's almost like they're ignoring them because nobody buys games on there. And Microsoft has to do that because they have to branch out and they have no other way. Not because they're trying to do something different and they're all doing something different. No, that's BS. No, they failed. And you're trying to mask it and make it seem like because they go that direction and because we failed, let's make it seem like everybody's going to follow Microsoft and watch Sony do the same things. Like, no. Sony is not in that position. They don't operate like them, and neither does Nintendo. And neither does Valve. Steam is doing well. That's why Sony put PC on there. Who do you think they're talking about? Windows Store? No. So Sony's not trying so hard to fool people. That would be Microsoft. And to believe in games would be exclusive to PlayStation. Dude, if it's an exclusive game on PlayStation, they're going to say it. And it is a PlayStation console exclusive that they're including to PC so they can grab the extra money on the side because that doesn't hurt their market. It's been proven the PC market is now tanked more than ever, so Sony ain't worried about that. You see what I mean? You're the one that's not understanding the way the game works. This guy says they're not going to show support to their competitors. Not even Nintendo does it. Xbox was also that way until they gave up competing. 100% correct. This guy says because Sony is just a console, and they're in a really bad spot right now. They have to try and fool the market into thinking they're not in trouble. What the hell is this guy talking about? That would be Xbox. What's wrong with this dude's brain? Sony's more healthy than they've ever been. They're making more money than any other generation. They got more games now more than ever. They turned around the narrative from last year with all the canceled games and PSSR issues into where they're at now, coming out a $650 Pro advertisement for a whole straight month of Black Friday deals, $399 consoles, whole month, $449 for the 1 terabyte, and getting Fortnite codes. Still ended up selling very well, on their way to 100 million. Got all these games coming out, getting all the Xbox games coming out, have the PS5 Pro, getting PSSR 2, and getting GTA 6 market rights. What the hell are you talking about? Them and Nintendo are killing it. So how are they in a bad spot? See, people say stuff like this. It's like, why would somebody even like that? What's wrong with your brain? Nah, you just want to grift and say dumb stuff. And this guy says because none of these are playable on Xbox. That's why. Here you got Karn, Neo 3, God of War, Kina, Marvel Tokon, Ghost of Yotei Legends, Ghost of Yotei itself, Death Stranding 2, Sorrows, Wolverine, Phantom Blade 0, Silent Hill, Where When to Meet. Usually you got all these games. Gran Turismo 7, which never came. What happened to Spider-Man? What happened to all that nonsense you thought was going to happen? None of them are coming. You don't see it. You're going to have to get the Magnus, which is a PC, and get into the PC market, which has been there for years that people are doing. So it's not Xbox playing PlayStation games. It is a PC that has an Xbox logo on it, like the ROG. It is coming like a console-like experience that is going to be so expensive that not that many people are going to buy it. So the majority of the sales are still going to be just on the Steam interface. So it's like, that stuff never happened. You got Helldivers because Sony did the right move for that. That made sense. You're going to get Marathon. That makes sense. But it's like, other than that, all that other stuff was imaginary. Just like people were trying to say what's going on with God of War and it's going to do all this. And it's like, it didn't happen. You made that up. More fanboy fantasies. Now, the funny thing about this is Porter Rock comes in and he comes out on him too and puts him in his place by saying, upset that Sony isn't giving Xbox any attention to brand in their own state of plays is peak cope. Yeah, it's like, I didn't know Sony had to put the Xbox logo there. Like they had to go out of their way and waste their time doing that. They don't have to do that. They don't owe Microsoft anything. As a matter of fact, they should be lucky enough that their market is open to be able to sell and make a lot of money on their market and be up there as a publisher and help them boost up. They need the ecosystem that Sony built that they did not kill, that is very healthy. Same thing with Nintendo and Steam, so they can sell their games on there as a third-party publisher. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, if Microsoft never put their games on PlayStation and they died off, Sony is still fine. But that's just going to benefit Sony more and help out Microsoft. So therefore, IPs still get to stay alive from developers and games that you probably care about. So there's IPs they have that I care about. So either way you spin it, Sony don't owe Microsoft nothing. So you saying that just doesn't make any sense. This guy says it's like complaining that a Nintendo Switch TV ad doesn't draw the viewer's attention to other games consoles. Nintendo ain't never going to do that. That's what I'm saying. They do it all the time. Did you find out those games are coming to other platforms? And I've said it before, Rockstar did not mention Xbox in that advertisement for GTA. They excluded them. Now let's go over here. You got this guy, Hope Is in All of Us, saying, stop glazing PlayStation. These games were supposed to happen a long time ago. What games? These developers are not skilled at their job, and it's going to get worse. What the hell are you talking about? Somebody slap this dude. Get some powder in your hand and wake him up. You talking about Metal Gear Solid 4? It's finally free. It got out. And it got a remaster rather than a port. That's good. The game looks a lot better. You might want to look at the comparison. I just put it up. So the funny thing here is, how am I glazing PlayStation? I didn't say they blew my mind or that. No, I said it was a good state of play. It was a solid one. Now, Dreamcast guy says the PlayStation state of play was perfect, which I kind of find funny. If I scroll down here a little bit, you can see that right there. The PlayStation state of play was perfect. Now, that I disagree with, but it was one of the best state of plays Sony has done for Sony. Nintendo has smashed the park with some amazing directs the past few years. But for Sony, this is an improvement. And when you look at the improvement, you look at the previous stuff internal, and you're like, in-house to in-house, compared to my previous track records, is this better? And everybody would obviously say yes, easily. You touched almost all bases in all genres, from first party to AA to AAA to indie AA to AAA to timed exclusives to putting games on PC, and to have some what do I like to say? Really good duration in there, where it's not just 20 to 30 minutes, it's a whole entire hour. Actually, it might have been 70 minutes. So usually people do that in like, okay, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, that was pretty good. If you have something that long. Sony did a damn E3 presentation. You know what I mean? Or like a showcase. And they still got a lot too. They still got at the side Wolverine. They still got Intergalactic at the side. You see what I mean? They still got Cory Borlaug's IP. Like, they still are pacing themselves good. They got the GTA rights coming as well. And it's like, you think about this, you realize where PlayStation was, like I said, last year with all the cancels. They even showed the Horizon MMO too. And that other Horizon card game, which I'm not really big on. But I'm saying, you see how many games they have compared to before? They're saying PlayStation has no games. They shut that narrative down. And they're sharing their games too. Like, if you're hating after them doing that move in the market too, because a lot of people were mad at PlayStation because what they're doing. Sony did everything you asked for. Now you still want to be like that. It says a lot about you, because it's like, no, I'm not going to be that type of person. No, I'm going to give you credit where it's due. I have farmed and criticized PlayStation heavy before I started coming back and being positive, because I wanted Sony to improve. They improved. Look at how I adjusted. That's what you do. You don't sit there staying like that because you're being dishonest with yourself. You're being a dishonest character. And we're not going to do that. We got integrity over here. No, I started criticizing Xbox because they needed to be criticized. You see what I mean? It's just called being an honest gamer. It has nothing to do with the brand or anything. It's like, they improved, so I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to be honest about it, then it says something about me. So you, I would say, stop hating on PlayStation. Talking about these games are supposed to happen. What games are you talking about? Because there's a lot of games there. There were a lot of new IPs. So if you're talking about Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that, it's like, you say stuff's supposed to happen, but a lot of things didn't happen. There's some things I can say were supposed to happen on Xbox, but didn't happen. You see what I mean? Like, we want to talk about Halo not having multiplayer? Don't get me started on that, man. Dumbest thing ever. This guy says, amazing games, PlayStation. Yeah, did a good job. And King C says, my thoughts exactly. True Gamer says, so you hate games. If you hate games that much, stop playing. Right? Guys, is there anything else to really talk about on this? Tell me where I'm glazing. You see what I mean? I'm being truthful here. Now, going up, we got one more guy that says, come on, man. Remakes, remasters, more stuff is releasing everywhere. What are you talking about? Come on, man. Remakes, remasters, most stuff is releasing everywhere. There's a lot more than remakes, remasters going on here. We got a lot of new IPs coming there. That's one thing that I do like about Sony. They give you a lot of new IPs. So, like, I mean, looking at some of this stuff over here, it's just like, what are you guys talking about, right? And then if we go back, because we got something else to talk about here. Here's Destin right here, right? Oh, why is it doing that? Yeah. There we go. I don't know why the hell it was doing that. All right, if you didn't think the state of play was awesome, then I don't know what makes you happy, but I hope that you find it someday. He's basically saying that it was a good state of play. He liked what he saw. Coming down here, at which part did you get overwhelmed and excited? He said Metal Gear, Soul Reaver, God of War Trilogy. Then they shadow dropped a game too. They're giving you free DLC for Ghost of Yotei. I liked Destin. I thought a few segments were pretty epic. He says, it was okay, very multi-platform, which is fine, but if you want to keep me interested in your platform, I need reasons to own your platform. They show plenty of games coming to PlayStation. Xbox at least has everything coming out on Game Pass, and PC has more specs. Dude, it's $30 a month now. And PC has more specs. PlayStation 5 loses this multi-platform race, IMO, but dude, oh boy. He must be one of those Xbox guys. I don't know. I mean, that's cool. If that's what you want to think, go ahead, man. There's no problem with that. Also, maybe a waste of time. There were a few games here that I could play maybe in 2028, but most of the games are not for me. A lot of remaster remakes. So you see people saying like this. It's like when I say this, I'm also saying this in contrast to you have to be neutral and be honest too. It can't just be about what you want to see. And that goes back to that tweet that I'm going to get to in a second. So you have some people saying it was okay. So a lot of people that follow Destiny also actually like Xbox. So this is not surprising. It was better than the Xbox Developer Direct. I mean, you showed the Game Freak game as one of your main 3 games. That was advertised there. Sony showed way more games, at a whole hour. And then you showed 2 big games, because people still worried about Fable, that are both coming to PlayStation. Like, when people say dumb stuff, it's like, please shut up. Like, because you don't make any sense to me at all. Like, oh, man. So you got some saying remaster shouldn't be celebrated as new games. Dude, there are people that never got to play those games. Stop trying to act like because it's a remaster, it's something that everybody played. There may be games that you missed. You got a whole new crowd that has never played those games, and they get it in a more up-to-date version because they probably wouldn't want to go back and play that version. Or they might want to play that and then play that one. You have to look at it in a different perspective. Like, that's not necessarily bad, and there wasn't just remasters there. There was a lot of new games and new IPs. Like, some of these people say just shallow nonsense. So, Cass said, this is what happens when there's no real competition. That's funny. So, going back, guys, here's the post I'm talking about. We're going to go to this real quick. By Mufus. He says, the problem with how a lot of people treat gaming showcases is that they look at it solely as, I can't wait to see my favorite franchise. And not as, I can't wait to see some new games I might be interested in. So if their franchise doesn't show up, they dismiss it as a whole. This is actually a very mature comment because he's basically saying that most people like that, if they don't get something that they don't see that they've been waiting on, they somehow think they can tear it all down. And that's what you call an infantile mentality. That is childish. Instead of realizing, could you rate the whole thing though and say, no matter what you put in front of me, I can be able to be honest and critical about it. Or be honest and give the honest take on it and say, yeah, it was this good because this is what they did. There's some games in there I'm not interested in, but when I look at the whole thing from beginning to end, I can give you an honest standpoint on it and say, this is why this is good. There may be some shows I may not be interested in and other things where I'm like, but this is still a really good one though. You see what I mean? Though it may not have been for me, but I can see this fitting, you know, this whole spectrum over here. And that's being able to have a good judgment and point of view and honest analysis on things, rather than thinking it only has to be about your point of view locked there, like that's the only thing that exists in the universe and nothing else exists. So you got those people like that that are very small-minded, that do think like that, and that is a problem. This guy says some people aren't interested in new franchises, and that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's true. I try not to do that anymore. Will there be anything I like? Is a better question than will my favorite franchise show up? Yeah. I think the core issue is product appeal. If a game looks like something nobody has played before and is innovative or at least has some kind of aesthetic they like, then it will capture attention. Otherwise, it will be dismissed. Games are are products at the end of the day. That depends. Some people look at them as art. It just depends. I get what you're saying by that. This guy says it's like people, or whoever this says, it's like people treat showcases as a checklist for their personal nostalgia. When you're only looking for one specific thing, you will miss out on games that could actually become your new favorite. Yeah, you have to be able to get out of your comfort zone. So yeah, I mean, you guys let me know what you think about this. I still think this comment is funny. Talk about I'm glazing PlayStation and the other thing somebody else has said. So leave a comment down below as usual. Hopefully you enjoyed this soft form. Later, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day. Keep gaming no matter what platform you're on.